Yum, yum.
All right, fantastic. So starting over, looking at my notes here. So this was last minute, as you can tell, because I've already screwed up the stream at the beginning. But I'll edit it out, and we'll put this up on the Pixel Fondue. Seems there's a delay. So I guess just let me know if this is working. If it's not, then I guess we'll just cancel. We'll just have to redo it. But I think we're good, right? Stream status good? Yeah? Seems there's a delay, probably. All right, I'm just gonna ask one more time. Okay, so I'm just gonna move forward. I don't know if William's on here. Somebody jump in and tell me if this is not working. But all right, so it's working. It works. Works for me. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so starting over. Pixel Fondue Discord. All right, this is the old Modo Discord, changed, rebranded to Pixel Fondue. And all right, seems like it's working good. So JB Caparosio, and I hope I pronounced your name right, JB, started a Modo Discord. I don't know how long ago, but it had a number of users, and I would jump on every once in a while and take a look at it. And at some point, not too long ago, somebody's already asking to make a transparent object in Modo. So Arnie approached me and said, "Hey, why don't we, make this a Pixel Fondue Discord, rebrand it, try and attract some new users, and try to get some more action over here." And at first, I wasn't sure it was a good idea because the Modo community has fragmented a bit, obviously, from the forums and Facebook and Slack, and now a Discord. And but the more I thought about it, the more I looked at what Discord could do and what Arnie's specifically had shown me it can do, I think that this is a good idea. So Slack has some issues. Now, if we go back to the old Foundry forums, people just generally don't go there anymore. I think people enjoy the sort of live stream of information format a little bit more. And also the forums, I don't think they're promoted. I don't think they're really particularly well maintained. There's so many sticky objects. There's so many topics. It's not a great place to try and find information anymore, unfortunately, in my opinion. And then Slack has its own problems. Slack isn't persistent. It doesn't have a forum, so nothing's sticky. And even the stream of information disappears after like 30 days or whatever, unless you go to their, it's all behind a paywall. You have to pay them, and I don't think Foundry is going to do that. Discord doesn't have those problems, and Discord has a forum, so which we'll talk about. So both those things really, I think, are compelling reasons to use Discord. And then what we did is we went in and added some areas where there's going to be a lot of content. And so I'll go over that because I think that's kind of the most important thing. A couple other notes. I really think of Modo as part of an ecosystem now, and I think it's important to have a Modo community with other applications in there. And so we're starting off with primarily Modo and Plasticity and Octane. I think those three programs Plasticity has its own really popular Discord, but Plasticity doesn't have rendering, it doesn't have texturing, it doesn't have animation. Obviously those people typically go to Blender now, but I would think if there's a Modo option at some point, that this would be a nice place for them. I also think that Octane is going to become a more and more important part of Modo, obviously, as Modo rendering engine isn't being developed anymore, and it's going to be opening itself up to third-party engines. Octane, I think, is in a really good position to become the primary render engine. And again, there's a lot of people who are interested in Octane who maybe like to try it in Modo. Lastly, like the most popular videos on Modo, weirdly, are like Adobe Illustrator videos that William puts up, and Adobe videos. Because there's a huge base of Adobe people, but it'd be nice to like bring in some of those people as well. So we may bring in some Unreal or Houdini or Keyshot or some of these other programs that Pixel Fondue supports on the YouTube channel. May eventually make it to the Discord. When you sign up for the Discord, there's a little onboarding questionnaire, and you can kind of tell us what programs you're interested in, and that'll help us decide where else to grow this. But for now, we kind of want to keep it simple and do this slowly. Blender, is obviously a popular program with a large installed base. and their own groups, but we'll see. At the end of the day, it's really up to, I want to stress this, it is up to the Foundry to grow the Modo base. That's that's their thing to do. And one of the things they need to do, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, is to get a cheaper version of Modo, an indie version of Modo, which I really think it just is now an indie program, and a non-commercial version of Modo. Now, William Vaughn and I have been trying for over a year to get them to go with a non-commercial version of Modo. And I think we've made some good progress there. And there are people at Foundry who definitely are interested in this. It's just it's a big company with a lot of layers, and it's owned by other companies. So it's not a super easy thing to get off the ground, unlike, like the Blender organization. All they do is Blender, right? Cinema 4D, Maxon. They really mostly focus just on Cinema 4D. Side effects, they basically got one product, Houdini. So all these, companies focus on their one thing. Foundry has a lot of products, and it's a company owned by other companies. So it's a little bit harder to get the ball rolling, but I have some good faith that we're making some progress in that direction. So, okay, let's actually just jump in and look at let's take a look at the Discord here. And I'm just going to go through it really quickly because I think I'll pin this over on the Pixel Fondue YouTube page so people can just get a general idea of the way this works. So, yeah, Modo is just too expensive. I agree. It's like twice as expensive as it should be, in my opinion. And I think it's not an easy thing just to like slash the price of the program. But again, I think we're working on this, and one of the things I will say is Modo has a great community. When you think of a program like Maya, it's a really popular program. I would say it's still the leading visual effects program. It's, owned by a giant company, Autodesk. What's the Maya community? Like Autodesk forums? I mean, is there a passionate Maya community? I don't know. 3D Studio Max? I don't know if there really is so much, but there definitely is with Modo. And so, this is something that I think needs to be leveraged by Foundry, and we're going to do that here. So, like I said, we just want to keep it pretty simple. So we just kept the 3 main channels from the original Modo Discord from JB, and so these haven't changed. In fact, they're exactly the same. All the old information is there. Plasticity, I can't remember if we added that or if that was part of the old one, but we've got a Plasticity one now as well. We're going to have more and more Plasticity content on Modo or on Pixel Fondue. It's a fantastic program. And yeah, like somebody was saying, Scott was saying, yeah, Plasticity pricing setup, 100% agree. If Modo was priced like Plasticity, I think it would do pretty well. So anyway, these just operate like Slack. You just type in stuff. Everybody knows how this works. But the information doesn't vanish. So that's good. We're also going to perhaps do like a community project. Here's a Kit Bash project. Maybe this would be a good way to bring in some Plasticity users. We'll do like a Plasticity Kit Bash project, and everybody can just submit little sci-fi panels or nuts and bolts or whatever you want to do with a Kit Bash project. And we'll put up Plasticity files and maybe convert them to Modo files. And so we'll get that going as well. Also, we've got some events here. We've got another event coming. The Foundry is going to do an interview with Matt Meersbergen. Matt's awesome. I chat with him quite a bit. He has his series, Professor Eggtop series, that he did entirely with Modo initially, and then eventually when they went into production, they used Maya. But what we'll do is whoever's in the Modo community and wants to have a live stream or do an event or whatever, whether it's Volker or Jan doing a modeling or rendering event, we'll live stream. We'll put it up in the events. Polypaul does a lot of these. And anybody else, I encourage everybody else to make more Modo content. And this is a good place. We'll just sort of aggregate it here versus the Pixel Fondue channel, where you have to, I got to make you a member of Pixel Fondue and do all these hoops to get you on there. Here we can just put all the events here, and we can also go in and start putting all kinds of files and tutorials down here in these sections below, which I think this is what really distinguishes this Discord from a Slack channel or anything else. We've got 3 sections here. We've got Modo, we've got Octane, and we've got Plasticity. And each one has these quick tip sections, and these are all William Vaughn's quick tips. So here I am in like the Modo quick tip, and I can type in like Boolean or whatever, and it just immediately we get all the Boolean quick tips, right? And this can be better than working or searching on YouTube, which can get all kinds of weird results. You can also tag things on Pixel Fondue, or on the Pixel Fondue Discord. So if I want to see something that has a kit required, I can click that, and there may be a kit, if I have something with Dex particles or something like that, or ACS, and it requires the kit, we can have a tag for that. We can have an exercise where you have here we have like a procedurally texturing an eyeball exercise, where it's not really a tool tip, so to speak, that William does. It's more of a quick little 1-minute exercise on how to do something. And there's all kinds of other stuff here. So these tags are super helpful, and the searching is really helpful. And the quick tips are here on Plasticity and Octane and Modo. So it's a really quick way to get to these, and we will be updating these as well whenever William makes new ones. And like I said, we can add sections for Keyshot or whatever he's doing, or any of the Adobe products. And really, William's quick tips are really one of it's outside of the Modo community. That's what Pixel Fondue is known for. It's known for quick tips, and it's really thanks to William, and he's just got this down to a science. But what's great is, besides quick tips, we also have this thing called questions, and this is where Arnie and Acid and some of the other mods come in here. And they'll just sort of go through the forums or the Slack channels or the Discord channels, and they'll find sort of questions or threads with a lot of answers and activity, and they'll repost them here so they don't get lost in the, we could do a grid view as well. Let me show that. So they don't get lost in the mix. So now you can also, this little icon right here, this little, we'll go to quick tips here, this little gear icon, you can click that, and you can go over here, and you can change the view from list to gallery, and then you can go back and you can see this gallery view. So, gallery views got some nice thumbnails and things like that, obviously, and the grid view, I just like a cleaner view, so I go with the grid view, but it's pretty cool. Thanks for that, Multi. So again, we've got the questions here, and so like motion blur on high-speed rotating meshes in Octane, right? So these are hollow glass sphere in Octane, stuff like this. These are really quick questions, or questions that we can copy and paste into these Plasticity and Octane and Modo sections, and it's sort of an FAQ. And again, it's persistent. So Modo training is going to be the larger videos, not just the quick tips. And not just Pixel Fondue videos. This is what I want to emphasize. So I've got these last 2 Pixel Fondue videos I did here with the bubbles and the floating objects. But we also have like Jan's modeling time lapse here, right? And all of Jan, like he's doing this whole time lapse of this spaceship. There's a lot of really good modelers in Modo. I don't know if Jan's like, right at the top. And just watching somebody make something like this, the sort of the progression, we got 41 parts here now, starting off with just some concept art and blocking it out and using, he does a lot of patch modeling with curve tools. It's really great to see. So again, here's a sort of procedural modeling tool set here that Matt Paquin had put up recently. So again, it's just a catch-all for Modo training. We'll get some of Polypol's stuff in here as well, and it's just better than Slack or the forums, and it's organized by app, and we can always add more apps like Unreal or Keyshot or whatever we want to do. And so I think that's a huge win here. Lastly, and I think this is the biggest one, is content. So you can go to the content here, and you can just let me just go ahead and do a gallery view, since people seem to maybe like that better. So with the content, you can put up little animated GIFs as the thumbnail, so you can see exactly what you're getting with these assemblies. And these are all Modo scenes. And there was a really good Modo thread on the forums, which will probably get lost in time, that had all these great rigging setups. I think it was called random setups. And Arnie, I believe it was Arnie, went through there and just grabbed all of them. And a lot of these from Chemo, who's probably the most prolific content producer in Modo right now. Chemo's awesome. But all this rigging stuff in Modo, which isn't really known for rigging, but has great rigging tools, they're all there. And I'm also going to be putting all the scenes from my Pixel Fondue videos here. So this buoy video, here's the video, but here's the scene. So you can just download the scene, which is pretty awesome, right? So you can just download the scene, and sometimes it's easier to learn from a scene than it is and just deconstructing it than watching a video. So we'll be putting up a lot of scenes with Octane as well. So Octane will have content. So here's like a scene with I had made for Octane with all the different materials available on Octane as a setup and a showcase. You can just kind of check out how all the materials are set up. I'll be putting in more Octane stuff in here with some of the new 2023 features like depth-based fog and caustics and things like that. And anybody can upload the content. So I can start a new post and I can do the bubbles using Dex, right? So I can create a new post here. And this will be use the Dex particle system to add bubbles to a liquid. And then I can add a scene. So here's my my scene from the tutorial, right? And so I can add this to the Discord and just click the little plus button here, and you can add my scene. It's going to upload it. And I think, I'm not sure what the storage limit is. It may be like 25 megs or something. So Modo scenes are actually super small, but if you include a lot of images and stuff like that, it'll obviously bloat it. So if you're adding stuff here, maybe use smaller images or use images, take out the images and just use images that are in Modo content. And you can add a image as well. I think you could just drag and drop one in here maybe, or add one. And then, yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, a tag is required, right? So then we add the tag, and this tag is like rigging. So this is bubbles. This is a rigging scene, and it's also a rendering scene because we talk about Octane rendering, and then I post it, and there it is. So you can download the file, and yeah, so pretty sweet, I think. So for general users, we got some more so somebody's late here. So there's some more activity in the chat here talking about some other ways to do this stuff. But anyway, so I think this is what's really going to set stuff apart. If you want to play with my Kylo Ren lightsaber I made in Plasticity, you can just go over here and you can download it, right? And so we'll get some more. Again, we're going to add like maybe a Plasticity kit bash section as well. Plasticity is really neat. It's really hard to say though. So let me pop up Plasticity here. So here's just me like screwing around the other day in Plasticity trying to like make just a little widget or something like that. And I think we should have maybe a Plasticity specific live stream for Modo users. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Maybe doing something just Modo users who are interested in Plasticity but haven't really touched it yet, and like maybe are like a little like, I don't know, this looks like a CAD program, this looks hard, something like that. It's really not. It's very Modo-like, very people who use it would probably say very Blender-like, but Blender is very Modo-like. So it's super easy to pick up, and I think it's pretty awesome. So and that's about it in terms of the Discord. You can also live stream directly to the Discord, and I'm live streaming this to YouTube because again, you can do I did a test with Arnie, and you can live stream to YouTube and Discord at the same time. It actually worked, but as you saw earlier, I somehow screwed up this live stream right off the bat. So I didn't want to make it super complicated right off the bat. So yeah, I'm more curious about how Plasticity is and can be integrated in Modo. Yeah, totally. You totally can. So let me actually pop up. Let's just. I think that's the Discord section, so we can live stream there. You can chat there, but mostly it's like send out the invites, and we'll put the invites up. Send out the invites. Get some more people in here. If you're parts of other communities, bring them over here to the Pixel Fondue Discord, and let's start adding content. Let's get tutorials. Let's get scenes. Let's start this Kit Bash project. Let's reinvigorate this ecosystem, and then let's all try and work on Foundry, trying to get once they get 17 out, which is not a small undertaking. Let's work on getting Foundry to maybe see if they can get a non-commercial or an indie version out there, or a lower lower price version. So, okay. If you guys, I think that, like I said, I think that does it for the Discord section. If you want to like just have a little, like a Q&A or something around here for Plasticity or Modo or Octane, we can do that as well. So actually, so sending something into Modo, you can actually do it right here in Plasticity. You can export to an OBJ. So I'll just say like test.obj. And I'll go like that. And then what you'll do is you'll see it's got this sort of real-time meshing over here. So I can go to quads, or try to do quads, right? So I can do quads for everything. Ngons is pretty clean. And you can do things like, you can obviously up the density and stuff like that. And so yes, you can go Plasticity to Modo without any go-between. But I think Modo really needs a step importer. Step is a file format used by CAD designers, sort of like a easy exchange format, kind of like an OBJ or maybe even FBX is among us 3D people. But I think Modo needs a built-in step importer, in my opinion. And a couple of guys had mentioned they might be working on that. Okay, do you have a link to the website of Plasticity? Sure, we'll put that up there. So maybe somebody can put in the Plasticity website. Really, the Plasticity Discord is where a lot of this action really takes place. And they're on Twitter as well. I think it's at @GetPlasticity, I think is the Twitter handle. But we can definitely get some links up there as well. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else? I think that, like I said, I think it was kind of short, but I think that sort of covered it. You guys want to talk about 17 or whatever? We can do that as well. Okay, so kits and things like that, right? So here's the plan with that. We do have a plan with that. So what we want to do is have a section on the Discord that is going to essentially be something akin to the Blender market. So, with Modo, there's free kits and GitHub type stuff, and then there's commercial kits. And both of those sort of areas are being worked on from both directions. This isn't something that's under my control. I'm not a programmer, and so I can't hustle this along. You have to keep in mind that everybody involved with Pixel Fondue and all this stuff, like myself and William and Arnie and everybody, we all have full-time jobs, right? This is all of our side projects, just like a lot of you guys are hobbyists or whatever. This is your side project as well. So we get things up as soon as we can, but there will be a Modo. We're working on something called Modo Kit Central, and I don't want to talk about it too much now again because it's not under my control, but we're going to address that. So one of the issues with GitHub, I think, is it's a little bit confusing. Even for experienced users, you go there and you're like, well, how do I work this exactly? Like, do I have to download these packages and install them? How do And so the idea is we'll have, with Modo Kit Central, we'll have a plugin inside of Modo, which will let you just download things directly from the Modo GitHub. And we're going to talk to a lot of other kit makers who make free kits and get them on the Pixel Fondue GitHub, not the Modo GitHub, the Pixel Fondue GitHub. There exists now a Pixel Fondue GitHub, and we will populate it with stuff, and we will get it on here. There's also going to be a market. This will also tie into a sort of a larger market one for kits, that so you don't just have to go to Gumroad and hunt around. And we'll have rankings and reviews and tip jars and all that stuff. But that's going to be coming sometime in 2024. I would say first quarter 2024. But again, it depends on people's availability, because this is everybody's side project. So I don't want to put pressure on people who have full-time jobs. They need to prioritize. But yeah, that's what we're going to do, and we'll be able to promote kits here and stuff like that. So that's a good question. Yeah, definitely. Is there a list of available stuff on GitHub? I'll look into that. Like, again, it's like a whip. It's just a work in progress right now. So I just wanted to touch on it and say that's going to be a part of this for sure. But it needs to be finished first. Yeah. So what else? Any other questions? I have a question. Is there like a de-ager for OBS? Good Lord. Turned 53 in about a month and a day, month minus 1 day. So do not know anything about GitHub. So GitHub is just, it's sort of a repository for code. A lot of people use it for development, but it's a great place for sort of open source projects. So, what we'll do is there's a lot of like older Modo stuff, a lot of stuff by Adam O'Hearn, some of his kits that are now open source, and they're on GitHub, but nobody really knows about them. And so one of the pieces of the puzzle to making Modo a much more appealing community and a better program, besides just a lower price, is a more vibrant ecosystem. And that means having a market where you can get kits and stuff like that. And it means having developers who are interested in taking some of their spare time and messing around and making stuff for Modo. And having kits on GitHub where you can go in and fork it and take a Blender project that's on GitHub, like Box Cutter or something like that, and then making a Modo version is something. You're still a youngster, thanks, Steve. Making a Modo version is something that we want to promote, right? I think that would be fantastic for Modo, but none of that's happening on Modo right now, and so we need to sort of create an ecosystem for that to happen. Steve, by the way, who just had mentioned something in the chat, has been super prolific in creating stuff for Modo. So yeah, definitely support Steve Hill and his Modo kits over on Gumroad. But yeah, we'll get Steve's stuff up on here as well and everything else. So I think that will be fantastic. And so let me just peek at the chat here. Yeah, mostly kit related. So yeah, I think, yeah, okay. Yeah. It needs a free personal learning edition like 10 years ago. I know. I'm convinced if I could build a time machine, I could go back in time and alter the future of the 3D ecosystem, but that's just not how it worked out. So we'll see what we can do there. But if you're just joining in from Slack or you haven't joined the Modo disc or the Pixel Fondue Discord yet, go ahead and join up. I should actually go and get the Arnie has got the link right here. So let me just post it in the chat. So you can go that, and that'll sign you up for Discord. And like I said, there's a little bit of an onboarding thing. And and then it'll give us an idea of what other programs you're interested in. Plasticity uses GitHub for releases. Exactly. Scott just mentioned that. And so GitHub is just it's a super popular. I mean, it's probably, I'm not sure if it's a nonprofit or if it's incorporated, but it would be like, yeah, it's kind of the place on the internet for software development. Quite frankly, it's super popular. And yes, there will be a Pixel Fondue section. So you got Slack and Discord. Okay. Any other questions about the Discord or things you'd like to see? Somebody mentioned like, there's I don't know if we want to have particularly have badges for users and things like that. Maybe like Foundry devs. Maybe if we can get some of them over here. Obviously, they're going to be hanging around on the Slack forums, but it'd be nice to get have them, Mike Jensen in particular, over here as well. He does a lot of customer support. Also, the Slack forum for Octane is mostly a support forum, or the Slack channel on or the Octane channel on the Foundry Slack is mostly just a support forum. So I think we could maybe move some of that over here as well. I think it's a better place for it. And so let's see if I can get the developer for the Modo plugin for Octane over here as well. Any more Houdini content to come? So maybe that's a lot. That's sort of on William. William does all the Houdini content. I've tried to learn Houdini like 7 or 8 times, and it just never sticks. I always have to go off to a work project and then come back, and I'm like, how's this work again? But yeah, we have a lot of Houdini followers on the channel, and every day there's messages, notifications from Houdini users. So yeah, it's really up to William, or if there's a Houdini user out there in the community that would like to contribute Houdini material to Pixel Fondue, just let me know. You can DM me on the Discord or reach me through whatever, and I will talk to you and maybe bring you on to the YouTube channel. Substance Painter channel, Pixel Fondue. Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. One of the most popular videos on Pixel Fondue is Steve White's Substance Painter video, which is awesome. And so maybe if you're out there watching, I think you maybe are, want to do some more substance related things and put them on the Discord, that would be awesome. I know William has talked about doing quick tips for substance as well. And, Wes, McDermott, who's sort of the substance painter evangelist over at Adobe now, is a friend of ours, William and I's, and he actually used to do some content for Pixel Fondue, but he does it all, he's sort of locked into Adobe now. But yeah, Substance would be great. I think Substance is one of those programs, like, again, it's an ecosystem program, which is how I kind of see Modo now. It would be great to have that on here as well. When Modo 17, so I think pretty quick. I think Modo 17, I've got the latest beta right here, actually, if you guys want to talk about 17. And it is like, it's definitely faster. It's way snappier. I was just screwing around with this yesterday. I like my sky gradient background. So 17, I think they're shooting for February. So just a few weeks. This is the second, public beta is up on the Foundry forums right now. And I think, I know they're trying extremely hard and working extremely hard on getting this out. It's a huge undertaking. I think even for Chris Haig and some of the hardcore Modo developers, they knew this was going to be hard, but I don't think they knew how hard this was going to be. Even though Modo's fairly young for a 3D program, it's younger than Blender and Maya and Max and all of those and Houdini. It's still like 15 years old or more, and essentially trying to make it multi-threaded is a huge undertaking. But it's I think getting really close, and I think people just need to be patient. It's important that they took this step, and I'm thinking it's going to be Modo 17.1, Modo 17.2 to get all of these performance improvements in there, because it's not just viewport performance. There's like the mini item problem, which a lot of people on here I know who do CAD work bump into that, or architectural work in particular, where you have thousands of items in the scene. Modo slows down because it iterates over this huge list over and over and over again. And so they're trying to fix that as well. And there's some third-party developers like Frederick has been doing, who makes Dex Particles and Tropism, has discovered some efficiencies, some big ones himself that I think he can put into mesh operations and things like that. So there's all kinds of ways for Modo to speed up. But 17 is coming along pretty well. I think in a few weeks it'll be out. Like I said, just be patient with it. Will there be scheduled events, voice channels, or just open to everyone? I think that's a good question. And I think Arnie, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, which is my fault because I just threw this together last night, can answer that, Pascal. I would like anybody to be able to live stream content to the Discord, and or if you have a YouTube live stream or event going on, to be able to put that into the events. So, if you can't just add your own, just let Arnie or Acid is another mod, or myself know, and we'll get it up there. If you want to live stream as well, let me know, and we'll get that worked out. These are the types of things we need to work out. And I'm a Discord noob. Arnie has really been holding my hand, and I even now I'm just constantly I just sent out the expiring link to everybody to join. So I'm constantly effing things up, but. Arnie has, he's a Discord expert, and he's been getting all this stuff streamlined. So, okay, so we got some answers here. Figured out with Floyd. Oh, that's William. There we go. Okay, planning couldn't add different software. Devon, 60 seconds. Stay tuned. So that's good. Yeah, I would encourage people to program more, Scott. Yeah, that getting the. I do think programmers need feedback from users, just like artists do. So it's like we have the a nice link for like show your work stuff for artists, so you can kind of show your work and get feedback. But there's not really that kind of thing for programmers, and it'd be nice to have like maybe we'll add like a coding channel or something like that. Right now, like the coding channel on the Foundry Slack is pretty active, and I don't want to mess that up by fragmenting it initially. And I think, but once we get like the Pixel Fondue GitHub going and stuff like that, I think then we can bring in coding. And I would, like I said, there's a whole world of like Blender tools that are open source, and it just requires somebody to make a Modo version, right? And so, that's yeah, I think we should do, I absolutely promote that. Yeah, so I don't know. Any other questions? 17 related, Octane related. I think we'll do. I think I'll do a video on Octane. Let me see if I can pop open a animation here I did recently, real quick. I did an underwater animation. Yeah, let me pop open this. Let me just turn down the audio here. But so this is all rendered in Octane, but here we've got some really nice caustics. And using the depth-based fog in Octane 2023. And so this isn't a caustic map. It's actually calculating the caustics from the normal map on the ocean. And so I'm going to do a video about that, and I'll also put up the content. This Hammerhead Shark actually is going to ship with Modo 17 along with a bunch of other stuff. So again, like Foundry knows, Greg Brown knows that Modo content needs to be updated. So there's going to be a big content update for 17. And we'll continue to add like content to the content channel here on the Discord. How about our weekly or monthly contests? They're welcome Discord channels. Yeah, I think something like that, a contest, or like I said, I think maybe the Kit Bash thing is a good way to start, where it's not a contest, but it's just like, hey, let's make something and throw it in here, and just and it allows people to download them and use them, right? So it just builds up the content. So something like that. But yeah, or a contest. We used to have some contests on Pixel Fondue years ago. I don't know if you remember the Lego contest. That's another one, the old Lego kit, which everybody probably forgot about. We'll get that over on the PF GitHub as well, and we can load up Legos and things like that. What about the new AOV system, please? And so the AOV system is, so we can put something about that. Now, there's a whole new layering system in Octane 2023 with all kinds of basically adjustment layers if you're looking at like a Photoshop or After Effects equivalent. And I need to learn how to use that. So Silverwing just put out a video on it. Silverwing, he's a Cinema 4D user, but the nodes are basically exactly the same. So you can watch Cinema 4D Octane videos and get that information. I'm going to try and get Silverwing over here as well, I think, at some point. But AOV system. There's a guy, Angus Hume, I think, over on the Foundry Octane channel that has really been pushing Octane a lot lately. So and then the only way you learn stuff is to push things. So he's been doing some cool stuff as well. And so maybe we'll get some information from him there as well. But yeah, so yeah, that's just some underwater work. But this is all just Octane depth-based fog, which is instantaneous, which is kind of cool. It's a lot easier to set up than like a medium fog, and so we could talk about that a little bit. Yeah. Anything else? That is showing, right? Yeah, I'm at the there. If not, we'll just wrap it up, and I'll put this up on the channel. So how about weekly, monthly? Did I miss anything? Kits, we're good. 17. So if you haven't used 17 yet, this view object threads button this is the big update here, and so they made it. I don't know if this will go into the commercial release or not, but you have it so you can turn it on or off there, just to sort of test things. And we also have, I think. They maybe put the yeah, the frames per second sort of meter right there as a button as well in this one, so you can sort of test things in 17. Say Lego. Caution of the strike. Okay, so so all right, so I think that's about it, and I'm going to wrap this up. And so, like I said, just share the invite that I put there. Head over to the Discord, and let's try to grow this community and see if we can get Foundry to make Modo a little more accessible to everybody. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off now.
Yum, yum!